Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, let me tell you, I have been watching the good folks of Port Charles for more years than I can count on both my hands. And just when I think I have absolutely seen it all, these young folks find a way to make me clutch my pearls all over again. The latest whispers coming down the grapevine about what is going to happen in the week of August 24th have left me completely speechless. It seems that Sweet Charlotte Cassadine, played wonderfully by Bluesy Burke, and Danny Morgan, brought to life by Asher Antonizin, are cooking up a recipe for absolute disaster. Bless their hearts, teenagers always think they know best, but rumors suggest they are plotting to actually drug Drew Kane. Yes, they are planning to slip something dangerous into his drink, and it makes my heart heavy. When you take a moment to think about the blood running through the veins of these two youngsters, I suppose we should not be entirely surprised that they are drawn to trouble like moths to a porch light on a warm summer evening. Charlotte has that heavy, dark Cassadine legacy weighing on her young shoulders, a family history filled to the brim with schemes and taking matters into their own hands. And Danny has that reckless, brave Morgan spirit, always ready to leap before he looks. But even with their complicated family histories, seeing them team up to take down an adult is just deeply unsettling to my soul. It is one thing to play a harmless teenage prank, but what they are planning is a serious crime. It makes me wonder why these kids feel they must resort to such extreme measures. Poor sweet Drew Kane. Played by the handsome Cameron Matheson, this man has truly been through enough trauma and heartache to last 3 normal lifetimes. From his dangerous days serving as a Navy SEAL to the intense physical and mental anguish he has endured so recently, he is just now trying to find his footing again. He served as a congressman. He tried his absolute best to do right by his community, and he has fought so hard to recover from his injuries. To think that his ultimate downfall might come from 2 teenagers sneaking around with a little vial of trouble is heartbreaking. Drew is in a very vulnerable place, trying to rebuild his life and reputation. He has absolutely no idea that the real threat is lurking right under his nose, hiding behind innocent, smiling faces. We simply cannot talk about this terrible, misguided plan without looking at where these kids got the awful idea in the very first place. Do you all remember the absolute mess that Jacinda Bracken caused not too long ago? Goodness gracious, that woman was a walking tornado of bad decisions and selfish choices. The ugly scandal she and Drew were wrapped up in has been the talk of the town, and unfortunately, the younger generation has been paying close attention. Jacinda pulled a very similar trick when she cruelly drugged Willow Kane out of spite and bitter revenge over a restraining order. Thankfully, Jacinda was eventually run out of town for her wicked deeds, but the lasting damage was already done. She planted a very dangerous seed in the minds of these impressionable teenagers. It really makes you sit back in your favorite chair and think about the kind of examples the adults in this town are setting for the precious youth. We always hope and pray that our children will look up to the heroes, like the dedicated doctors saving lives, or the honest folks trying to make a decent living. But in a place where scandals are served up daily, the lines between right and wrong get so terribly blurry for these kids. Jacinda's actions were desperate and entirely illegal, but to Charlotte and Danny, they probably looked like a highly effective strategy to get what you want. They saw a grown woman take control of her situation through underhanded means, and now they are trying to mirror that exact same toxic behavior. It is a tragic, vicious cycle of bad choices. The promotional video for the week of August 24th really threw a massive wrench into the rumor mill and got everyone in the community buzzing with worry. If you happen to catch a quick glimpse of it, you saw the very sneaky, shadowy shot of a woman's hand dropping an unknown, dangerous substance into someone's drink. They did not show a face. They did not show the setting clearly, just that one chilling, deliberate action. Now, we all know that the producers of this show love to play games with our minds, and they are very good at it. They want us to jump to wild conclusions before the episode even airs. The immediate thought for many folks was that this mysterious manicured hand belongs to none other than Ava Jerome, slipping a little something to Jack Brennan's group. Let us talk about the fabulous Ava Jerome for just a moment, because she always keeps us on our toes. She is cunning, she is sharp as a tack, and she certainly has the motivation to mess with Jack Brennan's group if she feels even slightly threatened. Ava is a true survivor, and she uses whatever tools she has at her disposal to stay on top of the food chain. So Seeing a hand slipping a pill into a glass naturally screams Ava Jerome to anyone who has watched her over the years. However, I truly and deeply believe this is a classic red herring, a little television trick to keep us looking to the left while the real danger is sneaking up on the right. The writers want us to focus all our energy on the adult drama so that the teenage plot hits us even harder when it finally unfolds. What truly terrifies me down to my very bones about this whole situation is how easily little Charlotte could actually pull this off. Our sweet, complicated girl has been spending her free time volunteering over at General Hospital. On the surface, that sounds like a wonderful, wholesome, and generous activity for a young woman to be involved in. It looks great on a college application. But when you stop and think about the kind of access she has while walking those sterile hospital halls, it sends a cold shiver right down my spine. A busy hospital is filled to the brim with strong medications and heavy sedatives. If Charlotte is determined enough, it would not be impossible for her to sneak into the pharmacy area or swipe something off a medication cart when a tired nurse turns her back. But here is the part of the story that really makes my stomach turn in anxious knots. I do not think their misguided plan stops at simply making Drew Kane fall asleep for a few hours. If they just wanted to drug him, that would be bad enough. But these kids are thinking much bigger and much darker than a simple prank. The rumor suggests that they want to completely and utterly destroy his reputation and ruin his hard-earned career once and for all. Imagine, just for a moment, if they drug him to lower his inhibitions or make him terribly confused, and then they stage a horrifying scene. They could easily make it look like Drew was acting inappropriately toward Charlotte, an underage girl. If they can manufacture a terrible scandal like that, his entire life would be over in a blink. So you have to ask yourself, why on earth would they go to such terrifying, extreme lengths? What is the ultimate prize at the end of this twisted, dark rainbow they are painting? It all comes back to young Scout Kane. Charlotte and Danny are fiercely protective of their little circle, and Danny desperately wants to have unrestricted access to Scout. Right now, Drew is the strict parent standing in the way of what these teenagers want to do. By destroying Drew's life and bringing a massive, ugly scandal to his front doorstep, they are hoping that Child Protective Services or the extended family will step in and immediately remove Scout from his home. They want to force a heartbreaking situation where Drew is deemed an unfit parent just so they can hang out with their dear friend. If this terrible, misguided plan actually works the way they want it to, the ripple effects are going to spread all the way across town to the Quartermaine mansion. If sweet little Scout is removed from Drew's care, the most logical and safe place for her to be sent is straight to the Quartermaine estate. Can you just imagine the absolute chaos and uproar that would cause in that house? Tracy Quartermaine is already dealing with more than enough headaches, especially with Willow Kane recently securing that highly contested seat on the hospital board. Adding a displaced, confused child, along with a massive public scandal, to the mix would turn that stately mansion completely upside down. But for Danny, that is the absolute perfect outcome, bringing Scout right back into his daily orbit. If there is one golden rule in Port Charles, it is that the truth always comes out eventually. Secrets have a funny way of bubbling up to the surface. Charlotte and Danny might think they are being clever right now, and they might even succeed in the very short term. They might get Drew out of the picture and get Scout moved over to the Quartermaines. But they need to be careful. When you play with dangerous fire, you are bound to get burned. And the emotional fallout from a stunt like this will be catastrophic. When the ugly truth is finally revealed, the deep betrayal will shatter families. It is just so much heavy information to take in all at once, isn't it? Watching these young folks navigate such treacherous waters makes me want to wrap them up in a warm hug and talk some sense into them. But as dedicated viewers, all we can really do is sit back, hold our breath, and watch the gripping drama unfold. Will Charlotte actually go through with the unthinkable? Will Ava Jerome turn out to be nothing more than a clever distraction? We will just have to tune in to General Hospital this coming August to find out.